Okay, I'm going to do a little shop update here, but it's not going to be the typical shop update where I take you around and show you different things. This is kind of going to be more me discussing things that have happened, that will be happening, or could be happening. Um, I'm not sure if I had mentioned it in any previous videos, but I had to make a haul to Long Island the other day. Yesterday it was actually. I made the haul yesterday. I had to pick up a lift, and I will put a photo of what I'm talking about. It's not like a scissors lift, it's a genie lift. It's a one man type of lift. Type of lift that you can't move around once you're up in the air. So, and you have to move it around manually. But I'll insert a picture of it. Well, on the side here, like a pick and pick. But anyways, I had to pick it up from a guy that I picked up that forklift that I took to Pittsburgh. And while I was there, he said to me, I'm going to be leaving to go to Florida for maybe a month or so. So let me ask you a question. He says, I've got a forklift that I bought, and it's got a bad engine and it burns oil real badly. Can you fix it? And I says, well, it's a Toyota forklift. And I says, I don't know whether I can get parts for it or not, but let me have the model number and I'll see if I can get the parts for it. And he says, well, you know, I buy and sell stuff, equipment. I buy and sell equipment. I have this generator set over here that a guy wants to come look at, but I'm not going to be here. Do you think you could show it to him and maybe you could haul it if he buys it? And I said, sure, you know, I can do that, but, and before I could say, but what, he says, well, let me give you a key to my shop. And you can just, if I arrange it, you can show it to him. So that went on. I took the lift down to Long Island and delivered it. Made a little video of the Catskill Mountains on the way back through. I took it down real early in the morning, went down there early in the morning. That's the secret of getting around New York City. Hit New York City really early in the morning before anybody's up. I took it down to Long Island, and on the way back, another guy called me that I had hauled something for, and he says, hey, Tom called you, and Tom is another guy. I'll relate this story, but Tom is another guy. He says his Tom called you. He bought a car, and it's in Pennsylvania, and he wants you to haul it up for him. You know, this Tom guy is into classic cars, and I'll explain this in a minute too. But I says, no, he's not hauled it. And he says, well, the reason I'm calling you is because I've got a car in Ohio that I need you to bring back if you take that car up to Tom. And I says, yeah, that's cool. I'll get back to you when you need it. And he says, oh, by the way, you know, your tool guy was telling me the other day that you had got that truck. He says, you know, I've got a Ford F700, not an F750, but an F700. Now, apparently it's newer than this, and I'll explain to you why this is. But he says, the tool guy was telling me that he says, I can't get the title for it, for this truck, so I got burned on it, and what I'm going to do is just part it out. So your tool guy was telling me that you might want to replace the axles on your truck and get away from split rims. And I said, yeah, I am thinking about that. And he says, why don't you come out and take a look at this truck, because maybe you'll be interested in the axles on it. It's got conventional truck tire axles on it. So, so that went down. I haven't gone out there yet to look at it, but so I got a hold of Tom. Tom has a car in Pennsylvania, 57 Ford. He sent me a picture of it. Looks to be totally restored. So I have taken a car to Tom before. Actually, this John guy that I told you that had the car in Ohio, he bought a camper that I hauled from Denver, Colorado, and he got the camper, and it was a '67 Ford Camper Special. Now, It's not a camper like in the back of a pickup truck. This is a 1-ton Ford with a camper built onto like a cabin chassis. I'm not sure if the camper was built by Ford, but the truck was called a Camper Special, which leads me to believe that Ford might have had something to do with building the camper too. But I brought it back to this John guy, and it wasn't what he was looking for or what he needed. So he put it on the internet and sold it to this Tom. The Tom is a guy that's got the car in Pennsylvania. And when I went up to deliver it to him, Tom turned out to be quite a character. And so kind of what I'm thinking about doing is when I deliver this car to him is sitting down with him and maybe doing an interview to post on my site with Tom. If you're into cars, when I met Tom, I'm not a small talker, talk about the weather, talk about anything in general. But if I, ask somebody a question, it's usually about what they do for a living or what they did for a living. So in taking this camper off of my trailer and putting it in his driveway, I asked Tom what he had done for a living, and he says, "Oh, I work for Ford." And for some reason, I kind of thought that maybe he had worked in the assembly plant. And I says, "Did you work in the assembly plant?" And he says, "No, I work for Ford Engineering." And I says, "You're an automotive engineer?" And he says, "Yeah, I am an automotive engineer, was an automotive engineer, but that's not what I did for Ford." He says, "My entire career was spent with Ford Racing Division." So in his garage, he took me into his garage, and he has this old Ford that's beautiful. And I says, "Did you build this?" And he says, "No, Ford Racing built this car." So I'm going to try, if I deliver this car to Tom, I'm going to try to do an interview with him, because he's quite the character and quite an interesting story. And this car is pretty interesting. He retired from Ford Racing, and I'm not really sure, but there's very possibility this car was built by Ford Racing, and he has it now, so maybe it might have been part of his retirement. I'm not really sure, but if I do get to interview him, I will make that point clear and let you see it. I'm going to throw a couple of other clips in here, but not much has been going on in the shop besides the truck and me doing some hauls. So, I mean, we had my grandson's van in here and had to fix the brakes on it, which was a couple of days project, or it turned into a couple of days project because the lines kept blowing out on it. But anyways, I'll put a couple of other clips in here, a little clip of that, the Catskills on the way back from Long Island. This is Route 17, between 87, just north of... Okay, I'm just going to throw a short clip in here to explain something. As I said, it's Route 17, and this part of the road is Route 17, but this road has been changed. If anyone knows, the numbering system for roads in the United States is even numbers east-west, odd numbers north-south. This, back in the 50s, this road had been built, a 4-lane road. I think it was under Eisenhower did this, and it was labeled Route 17, but it runs east-west. So they're changing it to actually Route 86. And most of it from PA up near Erie, Pennsylvania, down to Binghamton is called 86, but this section between Binghamton and 87, just north of New York City, is still labeled Route 17. So that's why I call it 17, but at some point in time, that section also will be changed to Route 86. New York City and Binghamton, New York. It's kind of in the Catskills. This is where those old resorts used to be around here. People from New York City would come up to the resorts in the Catskills and take their vacation. Some of them actually would drive up here and spend part of the weekend. Family would maybe stay the week and go home to, or go back to the city to work during the week and just come back up and meet the family on the weekend. So there's a lot of creeks around here, creeks and rivers. Very good fly fishing. As a matter of fact, they have a fly fishing museum that in the town that we just passed. But it's a cool area. I mean, it doesn't look anything now because it's still wintertime, no leaves on the trees, or all the grass is brown. But we probably cross that creek or river. I'm not even sure what it is. Maybe 12, 15 times on this road. So I'm going to shut you off and I'll bring you back later. Sometimes it seems like there's never enough time in the day. One of the things that I've got to do is I think I've got a couple of more hauls coming up. So one of the things that I've got to do is I've got an appointment this afternoon and going over and getting 2 new tires for the back of the truck. They're 265 70R17s. So I've got them, the guy's gonna have them in the shop, and I've got to go over an appointment at 1 o'clock this afternoon and have the 2 new tires put on the back of it. When I originally got the truck, there was Michelin tires on it, and I had some not bad experience with the tires, but bad issues with the tires on my original I used to own a 71 Dodge with a Cummins in it, and that came with Michelin tires also. And I had some bad experiences with them, not being able to get traction in the snow with that style model of Michelin tires that came on that truck. So when I bought this this truck, which is a 2011, it came with Michelin tires, and I got to tell you, the tires that came on it were very good. They lasted me for like 60,000 miles. So I said, okay, because you have a lot of issues with the rear tires on my Dodge truck, because of the Cummins, you seem to burn them out a lot, and it's not intentional spinning the tires, but they spin a lot in the wintertime. If you stop at a stoplight and you know the painted lines that they put for the stop areas on a stoplight, when I take off, even though I take off try and taper the clutch out slowly and come off gradually, when those rear tires hit that painted line, they'll spin. So the truck has a lot of torque, and it's just indicative of the way the truck works. So when I replaced the tires on the Dodge, I tried to get that same model of Michelin tires, and they had discontinued it, so I got a new model, and I got to tell you, the tires didn't last worth anything. So then when I went to get more tires for it, they had discontinued that model. So I decided to try their newer model, even though they didn't work. And that's what I have on here now is these tires, and they're like XLTs or something like that, and all-terrain tire. And I've had good luck with these. Now, I can't be exactly sure, but I'm going to say it's probably got 50,000 miles, 60,000 miles on these tires. And again, the back is worn. The front still has acceptable tread on it. So I'm just going out today and replace the two back tires. Just kind of a little shop update on tires. Yeah, here we are, new skins on the back. I gotta tell you, I really like these tires. They lasted quite a while, so there they are. Okay, so there we are for the shop update. There is some new things. I'm kind of expecting some new tools that I've been kind of trying to get for a little while. So I will show you that hopefully in the next shop update, depending on when they come in. I do have a truck video coming out as I had put into the subtitles on in the video. It might be coming out tomorrow, Saturday, or it might not come out until Monday, but it will be coming out. It's just basically a teardown of the truck, but it gets into some interesting things, some interesting finds. So that will be coming out again tomorrow, Saturday, or Monday. But that's it.